Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Prison Architect and a new series. Today's beverage is a very carbonated dandelion and bird dock, botanically brewed according to the bottle as well, whatever that means. Either way, welcome back to the game. And in a previous series, we were doing, for the lack of a better naming convention, the contraband search facility. The idea was to make money via finding the prisoners after finding contraband on their persons. So that meant also turning on mutators to not only spawn more contraband, force the prisoners to take more contraband, and the super scanners to detect more contraband. And we did. I think we can fairly say that was successful because the reform was high, the security was high, and there wasn't any sort of massively sort of untoward things going on. However, I think it's fair to say that we made most of our money via the forestry and the green energy exports, which is something I'm going to try and avoid with this build. So this build is going to be not different, but maybe going back in time a little bit. Specifically, we're talking update 2, which was, I believe, of November 2015, which is almost a decade ago. Yes, I'm getting old. And the idea is to make a female facility with pretty much none of the DLC. In fact, I think we're going to try and avoid any DLC. Anyway, let's just go ahead and go to create new prison. This is going to be the planning episode. If that's not for you, then by all means skip to the next episode, which, as of the time recording, doesn't exist. Anyway, female facility and default uniform, default colours, default everything, in fact. So we're not even going to pick a slightly different warden, even though I believe there was different wardens at this time back in the day. Guard dog's going to be a similar thing. We're going to go classic. And for DLC, there's the end of that chat. Technically, we can put on prisoner aging because that is free for all, but the rest of it is all of this DLC around the outside, which I'm going to try and avoid. So we're going to go with medium world size, prison size. Basically because the last couple of series I've been fighting for space, and I deliberately want to keep this a little bit more freeform, so we'll plan out rough areas for expansion and for what we're going to put where, but we're not going to overplan it. I think if I'm known for anything, it's overplanning and underperforming. So yeah, let's just see if we can change that up a little bit. Funds default, plot size default, plot type and all that default. Weather intensity is off, gangs definitely not, dynamic reputations no, fog of war we're going to keep off because it's just a better viewing experience for yourself. Failure conditions we will put on. We will generate some forests, although the last couple of times it's generated about 4 trees and called it done. Lakes we'll keep off, buildings same thing, warden mode. And moving on, events and temperature and staff needs off, but we will keep on the escape plans. People often ask why the events. It's just because if you get subsidence and you haven't got the DLC on, it's just a nightmare to sort out. We will come back to it at some point, I'm sure. And funds, bureaucracy, and tools and cheats we will keep off as well. So pretty much, like I say, vanilla as it goes. And, well, mutators are all off. Let's just click play. And, oh, the game's been a bit, a bit sort of generous with its spawning of some trees, so we can make some money on this one. Over to rooms and to deliveries. I'm just going to put deliveries on the other side. You see, I'm just mirroring what it has here. I know back in the day, if you remove deliveries when the truck was coming in, it would just sail past, and then that will be it. Let's go to some exports as well, because we will have, let's just do that there, we will have obviously all of these trees to sort out. Let me just go to the intake and turn this off, and let's click that as closed. Okay, so, yeah, I think we're probably going to go with min and medium sec. The reason for the minimum is because we will have a lot more, basically you'll have a lot more nursery and family cells with the minimum sec than you do with the rest of it, and obviously that's something we're trying to lean into with this build. So let's just go ahead and put in the outside wall. Let's go for a distance of 10 for the wall here. That's because we don't want contraband being spawned, and then 10 from there. Let me just double check the measurement there. 10 from there, and then 10 from there. That is fine. And let's see if I can eyeball the 10. So I'm going to guesstimate that, although I'm thinking that's 9. It is 11. Okay, I went the other side of it, but that is all good. And again, double check the measurement. Yeah, that's good. And then we'll just drag this down, and let's see if I can guesstimate it right. Let's say that, and that is 8 this time. So yep, definitely wrong with the measurements, and that is 10. And then we'll drag all this to the right, and then not cheating because I know it's right at the top there. Let's go with that. Okay, am I going to get it right this time? Yes, we did. Okay, more luck than judgment, but I had 4 tries at it, so yeah, let's see. Double check again. Yeah, measure trice. Thrice? Yeah, it's a word now. And there we go. So from memory, the medium size of the map is 120, and it is indeed 120. So we're going to go with some 60, which is there. So 60, 60. Let me just double check that again. So 60 to there, and then 60 to there, which is all good. Let's, ooh, hang on, careful now. And we're going to drag this across. This is going to be the entranceway. We'll open that up and have some doors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's just move that down to 4. And walls, and this is going to be the reception. Like I said, deliberately going to keep this a little bit more scrappy than usual. That's yeah, that's the term I'm using. And 3 there, and then 3 there. I do want it, however, to be at least symmetrical in some ways. So there is our reception, and obviously there will be an entranceway in here. I can put some metal detectors in there. That should be fine. And then some doors in here like that. Okay, so that then comes into the main body of the facility. As I said, I want to try and have this so you've just got sort of big blocks, and then we sort of fill in what we need. I will make a sort of universal cell block and go from there, but I want it so that, you know, it's sort of just a bit all over the place, deliberately not over planned. So planning not to plan, I guess, is the term. Anyway, let's see about maybe some sort of visitor area, because we didn't have visitor receptions and stuff last time. We didn't have any protective custody, which I'm going to put in this one, as well as we'll need some family cells. So over here, and let's just have a visitor area. And literally that. Yes, it is 3 there and 2 there. That is the point. The point here is trying to make it just a little bit, like, say, more free form. I will, however, measure in the middle here, and yeah, we will be able to come down and put some more of these sort of visitor rooms in. I'm looking at the sort of, you know what, we can probably put these maybe next to one another, maybe open this up, have another maybe couple like that. There you go. Again, no real rhyme or reason for doing that. Just we can do it because we can. Over to objects once again, and it'll be that, and this will have to be removed, and go for that. Don't know why there's 2 there and 2 there. It's just how it is, and that's the way we're gonna roll with it, I guess. So this is our, like I say, visitation area, which is something we've sort of not bothered with in the past couple of series, but there we go. We now got something in there. So we'll have an entranceway in here, something like that. Like I say, all of this will be walkways or whatever. We'll just have it how it needs to be. Objects, we'll put a metal detector there. We probably are going to put some walls either side just so you can't sneak around it. That's more for our escape attempt than anything else. So that's now in. I will then put in a couple of buildings down here. I'm actually going to make quite a large area, something like that. And this is for things like the chapel and shop and mailroom. Again, deliberately not over planning this one. In fact, I don't even need to put in the internal wall baffles, because, well, like I say, it's not really sort of a set size. And again, making sure it's just a little bit off from the side here, just a bit different, you know, like I say, from the sort of top view, which should hopefully look, like I say, a bit different. Anyway, let's go for, don't need the CEO's letter. Let's go for a cell block, shall we? And the idea is I'm probably going to put basically a row of cell blocks up here, and then down maybe here. We'll have, we don't have an administration area. I could always use this area for administration and security and have buildings. Again, trying not just to make this front section, which is what we've done previously, like a big building. And I mean, that plan might change as I probably run out of space, but I'm deliberately not putting in green energy around here. That's something that we are going to skip past. Anyway, let's go for a cell block, and I'll put a cell block in, well, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be a standard 3x2. We're not going to overdo it. This is not the family cells. This is going to be a standard cell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we can go 10. I think 10 would be fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9, and 10. That was lucky. And in the middle here, we will have maybe a gap of 5, and then another one coming down here. And again, 3x2 is the way we're going to go for this one. So this is a proper default, you know, base standard cell block that you would make A decade ago. Right, let's not talk about age. Right, let's just crack on with this. All the objects in here. So this is going to be, you know, the beds and toilets, and we actually might go for a shower block again. Shower blocks is something that I haven't done in a while because you just don't need them. You can always just sort of skip ahead and put in your toilet, shower and whatnot in here, and it's going to be like that, and I'll copy the rest of it over in but a moment. I guess actually it would be better going this side, wouldn't it? But, well, I've started the other side and I'm not going to redo it now. And then we'll have our doors, and we'll have a standard door there, and then all of these doors on here, but you're probably up on what doors are, so I don't really need to explain it too much, although that's my job. And we'll come all the way down, and there we go. Okay, so that's one cell block. What is the measurement of that one? It'll be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13... 15. Okay, good. Maths is hard. And our words, apparently. 15 by, what is it, 31. 15 by 31. So from here, we'll go 15 by 31. And yes, deliberately putting it a little bit off centre. And, oh, why not? We'll put it there. And it's going to be 31, 15. These have to be correct, obviously, because it's going to be cloned. 1, 2, 3. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8. It's 20. Why am I even counting? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We'll probably get 100 cells in this one. Yeah, that should be fine. And obviously, we've got lots of space for expansion, so that's all good too. Anyway, let's go ahead with the rest of it. And here, and it's going to be 31.15, and then 31.15, like so. Again, putting it a bit close, and then I think I can fit another one in, right? 31.15, and there we go. So again, it looks deliberately like someone's kicked over the blueprint table, and then had to redraw it on like sort of 4:30 of a Friday evening. But you know, like I said, we are doing this as a sort of noteworthy thing. Okay, so I like the idea of having all of the offices in this area. That should be fine. I don't want to have one big building, but we can have all of the offices around here. So we'll have a 4x4, which means a 6x6, doesn't it? Yep, it does. And that's going to be like that. And going to be 6x6, 6x6. Let's have this one next to it. 6x6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 6, like that. Okay, so that's going to be all of the offices. We do need an area for security and that sort of thing, so we can have a security area, we can have doggos outside. We don't really need to have another one. Don't plan on having an armory, so we don't need that one. We do need a staff room, so this could maybe be a staff room and then security. I think I will max out that space though. I say my eye's a bit off because we normally go for a small map, so it's just a bit different in there. Anyway, so that's all fine. I do want an area where we can feed the prisoners, otherwise known as a canteen. And where's that gonna go? Well, the canteen can probably go somewhere around here, and I'm just gonna do that. Whoa, okay. Like I said, known for oversizing the canteen, but let's just say if it was this, let's play the if game. It's going to be 3x4 and 3x4. Same on this side, 3x4, and well, that's not going to fit, is it? And 3x4. Okay. Right, this is what's causing the bother, so what I'm going to do is remove that and remove that, and have it as 3x4, and then a bit of a gap in the middle, and then 3x4. We're only going to have one canteen in this one, that's the overall plan, so that's 4, 8, 16, 32, and then 64, and then you basically have a couple more because we do plan on having potentially options for expansion, so that should be good for this one. Yes, I think I will go ahead and have it come along and then in here, and because we can, let's just bring it out, and you know what, let's just utilize this space a little bit better. We're going to have an entranceway in here. It's a bit, okay. It's curious, the size of this one. Let's see how we get on. This is going to be an area for like toilets and stuff. And then we probably want to have, actually, if we're going to have maybe this as a kitchen. Having a kitchen here means no prisoners working on it. Is that a good idea? It should be fine. Anyway, we're probably going to have these swerving tables over here. So it's a 10 by, well, it's 10, isn't it? 10 there, 15. We could have that like that. Like I say, this plan will not resist the enemy when we start actually doing building. I'm sure I'm going to regret every single decision I'm making here, but whatever. This feels like a natural area for some yard, and I'm going to use pathways and just do that because that's like, say, it seems like a natural place for it. I think that's the good size, but you know, we've got other spaces for it. In terms of the protective custody and the family cells, we're going to put those over in this corner. So I actually don't know really what sort of size the family cells need to be. I'm going to have them as maybe 4x4. The family cells basically. They actually only need to be. I don't think they need to be much bigger, if anything, actually, than the standard cells. The difference is that basically you have to have access to a nursery and they have to have a crib inside them. So that's what can be around here. Let's go with a distance of 10 seems excessive, but nothing excels like excess. Let me go ahead and put that in. Let's remove that one and put in the family cells in here. And is this enough provision for this sort of facility? I don't know what the ratio is, and it does depend on the type of inmates that you get when it comes to security level. So there's a high chance of you getting families when it's low risk rather than, say, Supermax. In fact, I don't think with the latter you can get them. But 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That doesn't feel like it's enough. But if I just measure this, we have got a 22 by 31, so 22 by 31, and I can probably put the same in here, 22 by 31, so 22 by 31. I don't know if we're going to do that, as in have two sets of family cells, but certainly one of these will be for the... That's going to be a small room, isn't it? Let's remove that a bit. And that could be, I don't know, double parole. So this thing here, we could have family cell, protective custody family cell. We could always do something like that. We've got our yard over here, and what are we missing? Sense of purpose in life? Yeah, pretty much. Let me go to rooms and double check. So cells, yes. Holding cells, no. Solitary, we'll circle back to that, shall we? Dormitory, we do not have and won't be having. Family cells, we will have it. Minimum size of 4x4. Good job I checked, because I just eyeballed that and thought, yeah, 4x4s are a nice size. It does require a crib and a shower head, so they will have shower heads in here. Canteen and kitchen, yes, yes. Showers, no. Do I just put showers inside of the cells, or do I have a separate building? It's going to depend on what is left here. No. I'm going to commit to that one. Let's have a shower in like so. It doesn't need to be very large. It's just going to be something like that, which is going to be, let's have it 22 and 22, and then you can also put shower heads in the middle. Do I just make it so it's like a big wall down the middle? Or you can put them pillars in, can't you, and put it either side. That means we're going to have to expand it at least 3 on this one. So it's going to be, actually it's going to be 2, isn't it? And there, so that and that. So you're going to have objects all the way down there. There'll be shower heads, and then I could put the sort of wall in there, and then the shower heads either side. And I'm sure that future me will remember exactly what that's supposed to mean. Not, then walls, and then we'll have in the entranceways, probably have it like that. That just feels a bit open for showers. I might put some baffles in like that. Yeah, that's probably going to be a bit better. Again, it's all aesthetic. It doesn't make any mechanical... It doesn't give you any mechanical advantage, but yeah, something like that anyway. So we've committed to that now, so that's fine. Things can always change. Storage, somewhere. Deliveries, garbage, we talked about. Offices, yes. Workshop, I don't plan on having one. Security is over here. Infirmary and morgue, it can just be in one of these little buildings. We're not going to have a morgue. Do we go with the morgue? Haven't decided. Don't need to decide it right now. Common room we will have. That's going to be probably around here somewhere. The visitation we've already talked about. It's over here. Cleaning cupboard. If we have one, again, it'll be over here, or what's going to be around here. Where were we? Kennels and armory. The former I will have, the latter I will not. It's going to be on the top right. The staff room is over again in this staff only area. Library, again, we can have it just around here. I'm feeling a very everything else is just going to go around here type of vibe. Forestry we're definitely not having. We've made too much money in previous series. And classroom, we'll have chapel, yes. Parole, we briefly discussed over there. Reception we've planned off. Nursery, which will go in here and in here if we have one. In this one, I don't know, like I say, if we're going to have double sort of family cells. I can always shrink these down, and I have a feeling that's what I'm probably going to do to try and get another building in here, but we'll see about that one. We have not got a mailroom or a shop, but it can go somewhere. We've talked about that, padding, all that sort of stuff. No gym, don't need to bother with. All of the fruit orchard allotment, farming, etc. we're not bothered with. Flower garden, restaurant, no. Meeting room, potentially. Cinema seems like a fairly decent one to go with, actually. But you know what? I think we're all seeing what's going on here. Let's just have a big building that's going to go here, and then we'll split it up as needs be. However, what I do want to do is have an area for security, and let's just have all of this as solitary, because, like I say, I haven't got any solitary, and I do want some solitary. That is actually fine there. And then we'll drag that across. How many is this? So I could probably work it out just by the size of it and the gaps we've got, but let's just count it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22 for 120 prisoners. Hang on, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That seems to be a fairly, what was it, a 1 out of 10 ratio for that one. That seems to be about right. Okay, well, that might be what feels like the sort of sloppiest episode ever when it comes to planning, but if you've seen any of the series in the past, you know that, you know, we normally have things very regimented, very planned off, very segmented. Check on the thesaurus for more of those sort of ideas. Basically, I wanted to deliberately move away from it and do something a bit different from what we usually do, and I think this is that. So, yes, we are going to leave it there for now. I think we've got most of what we need. I haven't got a laundry, but again, that can just go in any of these buildings. They're big enough that I can split them up and put them wherever, so that's fine. Exports has been really generous. We've got a lot of trees going out, but I'm not having any forestry, so that's going to be the first and only time we're sending wood out on the 3,400 for a full truck of lumber. Interesting. Okay. Excuse me. So, that has been a bit of the planning for this series. We do obviously have a lot more to do. This is just a beginning, but hopefully this will become, a successful facility. But, as always, we'll see. Why have those not been removed? I bet it's not dismantled it. No. There's a limit to how much can we dismantle in one go, so if you clicky draggy and it doesn't do it, then just, well, try it again. Either way, that's the plans there, and next episode we will start the building. As always, comments in the comments. I know it's difficult to offer any sort of critique for this when we've just went, stuff will go there, but, well, it means it's sort of open-ended, so, yeah, truly a sandbox experience. Either way, I hope you have enjoyed the planning and the discussion. Let's see what happens in the next episode when we start building. Hope you have enjoyed it. Comments in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. And generic partings.